I'm Dr. Michael Haley, and I have another subscriber question. In this case, Nora says, I've seen many holistic doctors and not one has fixed the problem. I got a virus at 17 and I'm now 66. I eat very good and exercise. Problem, it's the herbs and adaptogens that cause the virus to come out. It's a fact. Done it too many times. The supplement that improves my blood pressure causes it. So my blood pressure is very high. And Nora describes her diet and supplements. The pain is too much. Herbs that help with sleep is a no. So I'm not sleeping. So Nora, you are not alone. A lot of people have tried so many things and haven't figured out what is causing their problems. And I'm going to help you and a whole bunch of other people in this video identify what is causing the problem and what you need to do to get well. And really, you can apply this to pretty much anything. What's important is paying attention to the things I say, and when I say things that, make you shake your head and go, yeah, I've been there, done that, tried that, okay, good. We know it's not that. But chances are you're going to hear something on this video where you say, I haven't tried that. I'm weak in that area. He's got a point there. I should try that. And that will be your area to focus on. Your area to dive deeper and say, okay, let me make changes in this area. I think I can make some improvements. So this might be a long-winded video, but it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a doozy for you that haven't figured out, or maybe you're completely healthy in your own mind, or you think you are, but you can make some improvements. This is really for everyone. All right. And we're only going to talk about 5 things. And these are the 5 things that you can do regardless of what's going on in your life. Regardless of the condition you may or may not have, the improvements you may or may not want to make. These are the things that work with the intelligence that is in you, whether you call it innate intelligence, which is that intelligence in your personal space, kind of the brain controlling your body with the life that you have in it, the universal intelligence or the all-knowing intelligence, God above, that created the laws of nature that work in all of us, whether we believe in him or not. Can't stop them. They're at work in you. You either have the life in you, God-given, or you don't think it's God-given. Doesn't matter. It's still in you, and it works within these laws of God, laws of nature, if you want to call them. It is the life that is in you that requires some things and doesn't want some other things. It's like, give it the things it needs, but get the interference out of the way. That's what we're going to talk about. And we're going to go through 5 areas and identify what it needs and what interference can get in the way of these things. All right. The first one, let's talk about nutrition. Now, people think that's what we eat. Nutrition, the things we eat. So nutrition is really more your body chemistry. What do I mean by that? Well, you eat things and that tremendously affects your body chemistry, your blood chemistry, your nutrition, the chemistry within your blood. But other things also affect that. For instance, how you think. You can actually change your blood chemistry with negative thoughts or positive thoughts. When you sleep, your chemistry is changed. When you exercise, and there's many different kinds of exercise, your chemistry is changed. So pretty much everything can affect your nutrition. You can actually change your nutrition without changing your diet. However, you do want to give a good foundation of, food and nutrients and things that agree with your body so that you have something to work with. So it can make the best chemistry out of not only the food you eat, but out of your thoughts and your rest and all of those other wonderful things. You don't want to interfere with that by having this toxic overload that interferes with sleep, for instance. Imagine that you drink coffee all day long and then you can't sleep at night. Well, your body never has the time to make that good chemistry that would be created by sleep because of the toxic caffeine overload. I drink coffee, by the way. Have it in the morning. I make sure it's burned off by night. I only have it in the morning. I don't have chocolate or green tea or coffee or any other caffeine later after, say, about 10 o'clock in the morning for me. If I have it after that, it'll interfere with my sleep. That would be bad. All right, nutrition, the things that you eat. Organic is obviously better because it has less chemicals, but it's not the ultimate standard. In organic farming, they still use even pesticides. Some things aren't labeled organic or certified organic, but they're grown and processed even better than organic. So get to know your food supply. Obviously, things like, vegetables have more detoxifying qualities, fruits and vegetables, whereas, animal foods are probably going to have accumulated more toxins along the way. Sometimes, especially if you're using conventional animal foods, there's chemistry in the things they eat. They're giving medications in their diets and antibiotics and hormones for the cows and all kinds of ungodly things. And instead of being fed their proper diets, they're, fed grains and things to fatten them up instead of being out in the pastures eating grass or whatever the case is. So, when it comes to animal foods especially, try to get the free range or the pastured, organic, the way they are supposed to be raised in their natural environment. That would be the kind of things you'd want to consume. If you were having butter or milk, hopefully it's from pastured, grass-fed cows. If you were having eggs, hopefully it's from free-range hens. You get the idea. So that's your diet portion of the nutrition. Another big thing to consider is your exercise. Now, don't just think right now, I exercise or I don't exercise, or, what kind of exercise are you doing? I got that. I run every day. Okay, well, that's one kind of exercise. Let's talk about the different kinds of exercise and try to pay attention. And if something stands out and you say, oh, yeah, I should spend more time doing that, okay, focus on it. Exercise, there's, exercise for building muscle, strength training. There's endurance training. Some exercise is very low level and it encourages fat burning. It gets your heart rate up, but not too much. There's flexibility training, especially this is important in the spine, where your central nervous system is encased by all of these bones. Stress and tension can affect the way those nerves work. A lot of us carry stress in our spine, and we need to just let it go, and possibly stretching and rinsing out that spine, kind of flossing your spine. We floss our teeth. Maybe we need to floss our spine and get rid of a lot of the tension that is in it. So consider the various kinds of exercise and say, okay, am I really getting enough exercise? Am I deficient in any of those? When we exercise, we detoxify, we sweat, and bad stuff comes out. There's many aspects of exercise. All right, so we talked a little bit about nutrition. Now we talked about exercise, and guess what? Exercise affects your nutrition. We already talked about that. Rest. Are you getting proper rest? And this might mean more than just 8 hours of sleep at night. It might mean that, you have a lot of stress in the daytime and you need to take a time to meditate and flush your brain out, because stress builds up. Stressful times, add up to, all kinds of negative chemistry. And we might need to purge that and create some positive chemistry in the middle of the day, maybe through meditation or laughter or enjoyment, fun, or exercise. We might need to somehow, put our mind in a different state, because the job that we have, whether it's raising kids or, working out on the streets, whatever it is, might be too stressful. So rest is, especially at night, a good quality, deep, hopefully 8 hours. That might mean not drinking water before you go to bed, because you don't want to wake up a couple hours later right when you get into the deep sleep and then you realize, hey, I gotta pee. Interrupts your sleep. Make all the necessary, preparations so that you can enjoy a good night's sleep. It might mean no caffeine after a certain time, or even certain foods that create energy in you that are going to interfere with your sleep. It might mean not eating starting 4 or 5 hours before you sleep, so that you don't have a full feeling that might interfere with your sleep. Whatever it is, got to get the barriers to the sleep out of the way so that you can have a good sleep, because again, sleep affects the chemistry in your body, affecting your nutrition. It's a big contributor, lack of sleep, to lots of people's health problems. Nutrition, which is everything. Exercise, which affects nutrition. Sleep, which affects nutrition. Nutrition, exercise, rest. Positive mental well-being or spiritual well-being. How we think changes our chemistry, changes our health, affects our immune system. The thoughts that we have, and the easiest way to think about this is, if you ever get in an argument and, really go at it, chances are after that you feel drained, you have less energy, you're stressed, and you take it with you, and it affects your nutrition, it affects your ability, it might even affect your sleep, which further changes your chemistry. Positive thoughts, on the other hand, give you probably more energy, make you feel good, make you feel lighter and excited, and affect your nutrition in a good way. So a lot of us have to figure out how to have more positive thoughts. And again, they all work together. Sometimes exercising releases the stress and gives us happier thoughts. Eating good foods gives us happier thoughts. This is interesting too. I notice in my own life, and I cut these things out, but I used to eat things that had chemicals in them. I did not know. And there were certain nights when I'd be sleeping and I'd have very violent, aggressive, literally bloody, survival type dreams, trying to survive. And I realized that I would have those kinds of dreams after eating certain foods, and when I don't eat those foods, I would sleep good and have happy dreams. So, when we think about this, when you think about good thoughts, good rest, chemistry, it all ties together. Positive mental well-being is, it might be from reading a book, something that's inspirational, good happy thoughts. It might be a time of watching comedy or entertainment. I remember watching this little documentary with my wife, and I like watching documentaries for the sake of learning, and this was a rather ugly, dark documentary, a true story about a serial killer. And those things don't affect me. I look at them more from a learning perspective. As a man, I'm provider and protector of my home. So for me, I see things and say, okay, this can happen, and this is how you would stop it. But for my wife, it was, more like, a fear. Did we lock the doors? What's that sound? What's going on? It affected her in a very different way. So for her, avoiding input that would give her bad thoughts would be a wise thing. And the same thing for us, that, although I'm not affected by that, but negative input in other forms might affect me. So good, happy thoughts, good chemistry, important for our health. And if we have areas that we need to clean up in our life because they're affecting our health, we need to clean them up and replace them with better, happier thoughts. Nutrition, exercise, rest, mental well-being. The last one, the one thing that affects us all, is our central nervous system controls, coordinates all of the functions of our body. What does that mean? That means our brain sits up here, and there's this kind of above, down, inside out thing that happens where the brain controls, right now I'm sending a signal for my hand to go up. And I have a continuous communication. I feel things in my hands, and it sends signal to my brain. I can tell my hand, even without looking at it, I can tell it's going up, I can tell it's going down, I can feel it moving side to side without looking at it, because there's a continuous communication from the brain to the body and the body back to the brain. But sometimes that gets interfered with. We've all noticed, like if we put ourselves in a certain posture for too long, we might be pressing on a nerve that makes our hand numb. Or if we cross our leg, it might make our toes numb. Sometimes we can interfere with that nerve flow and it not be doing its right thing. For instance, right here, there's a nerve that will, if I keep it pressed there, it's going to make this kind of numb, and you can all find it on you. It's uncomfortable. It's like, oh no, don't press in there. And if I hold it there long enough, these fingers will get numb and start to tingle. And if I hold it long enough, there may be muscles involved that actually get weak. And if I let go of that tension, all of a sudden things come back. Well, people might be carrying tension in their spines, like, if it's up here, it can also impinge that same nerve in the brachial plexus, affecting causing numbness. But guess what? Stored tension in our spine can also affect the nerves that go to organs. So imagine digestion not working properly because you have too much tension stored in your spine, choking the nerves that go to the intestines, the small intestines, the large intestines, your stomach. Nerves go to every organ in your body. And when those nerves are not giving their normal signals because of the stored tension, then you would have less health. So how do we get rid of that? First of all, you should be flushing your spine out every day. We talked about exercise. Remember, these things all work together. One form of exercise might be yoga. In yoga, part of it is putting your spine through full ranges of motion to help flush out tension. Sometimes the damage is too much and yoga is not going to flush it out. Sometimes you need help in restoring mobility and getting rid of tension. Chiropractic is wonderful for that. There may be, help through acupuncture and massage therapy and physical therapy in restoring mobility and motion to your spine, to your, getting rid of the stored tension in our posture, improving posture training. All of these things can contribute to our bodies working better. One of my favorite stories in chiropractic was Charlie, and Charlie was a patient probably 25 years ago for me. And I remember when he came in, he said, "Dr. Haley, I have pain in my neck going down my arm. I have pain in my back going down my leg." And that was the real one. The pain in his back going down his leg was the most significant. And my goal was to help him with that the most. That was my real focus. The neck and arm thing didn't seem as significant. And it had just started. That pain had just started for him. And I remember taking the, x-ray of his back and, seeing this one bone in particular where, just the tension on it was holding it out of position. And, I remember looking at it thinking, I'm going to fix that today. And I put him on his side in that chiropractic position, and you kind of bring one leg up and you turn the patient somewhat like a pretzel, and I moved that bone, and the crunching and cracking sounds that came out of it were absolutely amazing. I've told this before, it sounded like sitting on a bag of chips. Just everything popped and cracked. And Charlie, this is kind of perfect because if you can picture this, Charlie was a black man. And if you've ever seen Caddyshack, there is this one scene where there's a black man sitting on a fishing boat, and Rodney Dangerfield's got this big yacht, and he's just flying. He's got it wide open, just cruising and not paying much attention. He's got all the money in the world. He's just this, big rich pig flying in his yacht, and he's headed right for this canoe where this black man was fishing. And if you remember the movie, let me give you a side view. He's fishing, looks, he sees the yacht, and then he turns back, and his eyes get about as big as donuts as he realizes he's about to get run over, so he dives into the water to escape. Charlie absolutely in that moment looked like the guy realizing he was about to get run over. When I adjusted him and we heard all those sounds, his eyes got really big, like, what? Just like in Caddyshack. So it was an interesting time. And I, said, "Charlie, don't worry. That's exactly what I expected to happen. I want you to come back tomorrow and we'll recheck you. And when he came back the next day, he kind of looked at me and said, Dr. Haley, something you did. And I was like, well, what's going on, Charlie? He said, well, I don't have any more pain in my neck going down my arm. I adjusted his neck too. I don't have any pain in my back going down my leg anymore, but something you did. Now, just so you know, when you go to a chiropractic, we don't always nail it on the first visit. Sometimes it takes time, but sometimes we're completely blessed, and in one day, everything's improved. Something you did. So, what's going on, Charlie? Well, the first thing he did is he kind of got quiet. He said, I can have sex again. I said, what? Yeah, I can have sex again. Well, and I looked at his chart, his entrance chart, and there was check boxes for all the areas of problems. I said, you didn't have a check mark here. You didn't indicate you had any problems there. He said, well, I didn't know it could have anything to do with my spine. So in his case, nerves coming out of his spine, going to his manhood, were impinged and not working right. Something you did. I said, well, what else? What's going on? What was the look on your face? He goes, well, I don't have constipation anymore. In both cases, with I can have sex again and the constipation, I said, how long have you had this problem? In both cases, he said 10 years. Apparently, about 10 years earlier, something happened, and it wasn't the same painful experience that he had, but somehow a nerve was impinged going to those areas, and they didn't work like they're supposed to. So, I can have sex again, and I don't have constipation anymore. I said, Charlie, what was that look on your face? He said, I had to go to the bathroom. So for him, it was instantly adjusted his spine, nerve released, and not only did it release the tension causing the pain, but all of a sudden everything started working, and he was instantly wondering whether or not he was going to make it home, or I guess possibly crap in his pants. Yeah, I think he made it home. I didn't ask. But he was absolutely excited, and his life changed because we got the tension out of his spine that was affecting the way his nerves work. Now, chiropractic may or may not be right for you. Massage therapy or acupuncture or whatever may or may not be right for you. What we do know is if you have tension in your spine and you're storing that physical stress, I promise you it's affecting your chemistry, it's affecting your nerve flow, it's changing the way your body works and might be responsible for part of your problems. It might be why your body's not detoxifying properly or processing the food you eat properly, or it might be affecting any organ, which could be affecting literally any problem at all. Well, maybe the problem's in my brain. Hey, guess what? Tension in your spine could shut off nerves that control blood pressure to your brain, affecting the way your brain works. It's all connected. So that's a long answer for one question, but let's look at it again now. I've seen many holistic doctors, and not one has fixed the problem. I got a virus at 17. I'm now 66. I eat good and exercise. The herbs, adaptogens that cause the virus to come out, done it many times. Yeah, blood pressure. Okay, you shouldn't have to control blood pressure. That should be working right. Literally, if you address those 5 areas, regardless of what the problems are, I'm certain that something in those 5 things, if you fully address them, are going to greatly affect, improve, or even eliminate your issues, your health problems. So that was a long one. I hope you like it. I hope it's helpful. And I'm Dr. Michael Haley. Please ask me your questions. Give me your comments to this video. Let me know how they help you or what stood out for you that might make a difference if you focus on that. Any one of those 5, and within those 5, when it comes to exercise, we talked about lots of kinds of exercise. Within those 5, if it was one portion of those 5 where you said that all of a sudden that made sense to me, focus on that. But let me know too. I want to know how this video, this lesson may impact you for the rest of your life. God bless you.